Hello everyone, this is Royal. I'm the founder of CodeParrot. So, a bit about CodeParrot. Like as front-end developers, we want to create beautiful, robust web apps, mobile apps, but are often bogged down by how quickly we need to ship things. And that is why we built CodeParrot. It helps you build good components, stable, beautiful, responsive in a matter of seconds. So let's get started with the demo. First, about installation, you can install it from the marketplace. Just search for CodeParrot, you'll see an install button, just click on that. I've already installed it, so I'll just get started with it. Now you can log into CodeParrot using either Figma or GitHub. If you have a Figma file and you want to use that to create components, do the Figma login. Otherwise, you can use any of them. So I'll start with Figma. The login is pretty straightforward. It will take you to the browser. You can authenticate, you can give permissions, and then click on Open VS Code. It will take you back to the VS Code. Now, as you can see, first we have to specify how does the component that we're trying to create look like. We can either use a Figma file component to use that. We can also use a screenshot to describe how the component looks. And in worst case, we can just tell CodeParrot how it looks. So let me get started with a Figma file. I can click on the plus icon to enter my own Figma file. For now, I'll just use the sample one that we have provided. It will load and then it will start using our Figma file. So here it is. Let me click on that. Now you'll be able to see the CodeParrot panel. Here's the preview of the component that we are trying to create. It's a landing page with a heading, navbar, and so on. Now, before I start generating code, I want to specify the code preferences that I have. For example, React instead of Angular, Tailwind instead of inline CSS, TypeScript instead of JavaScript, and so on. I can also specify additional rules like I want to use, let's say, Material UI, or I want my components to be functional components instead of class components. And you can specify as many rules as you want and then click on the save button. Now your settings are saved, and now you can click on the submit icon to start generating code. I have this really old profile picture. Please ignore that for the moment. It will take few seconds to get started, and then it will start spitting out the code. Right, so as we were waiting for the code to get started, and here it is. So as you can see, it's using the specifications as I mentioned. Now I can copy paste this code into my relevant file and be done with it. But real world is a bit more complex, right? Like you want additional functionality. So let's say we have this navbar, but we want on mobile screens for it to be responsive. It should convert to a menu icon instead of being the whole tab. So we will specify on mobile the navbar should collapse to a menu. Let's see what it does. It has created few components, navbar, hero. Now it needs to modify the navbar component. Let's see how it does. Right, so it has added the properties which are needed for responsiveness, the tailwind properties hidden on mobile, blah blah blah. So I think it has done a good job, but probably we need more. So let's try one thing. Maybe we can add that on login, create a modal with email and password field with validation for email. Now it is creating that modal. Let's see how it does. It has created email password. Now it has also added the test for valid email. So that's good. Now the last thing that we'll do with this component is create a test for this, which is the thing which I personally hate a lot, but it's very important. So let's see. What we'll create test for is basically when someone enters the email and password, they should be able to see the login success text instead of the login button. Let's say we want to do that. So what we'll do, create a test using Playwright. You can use your own framework. User should see success login successful text when entering email and password and logging in. It's not the best grammatically, best sentence grammatically, but I think CodeParrot will be able to understand it. So let's see. Write a test. Let's check. So login successful. Blah blah blah. It is imported correct files. The path. It has added the correct selector for the email for the password. Just clicked on submit, and it has successfully asserted for login successful. So it has given a pretty good result. I'm quite happy with it. Now, so this is how your in general workflow would be. Create the UI for the component, add and improve the functionality, and you have the code ready. As a bonus, we will also try a couple of other methods to create a component. So let's try use screenshot. Let me see if I have anything good. Probably don't. This might be interesting. Create this table. So let's say we ask CodeParrot to create this table for us. Let's see. Let's start creating the table. Let's see how it does. Initials, name, username, status, email, date. That's quite all right. And then it has created the table, the correct tags. I think it has given a pretty good result. So this is how you can use CodeParrot to create new components from scratch. So another thing that you might want to do sometimes is that you already have a set of components built by yourself or your team members in the past, and you want to reuse them to create future components. So you might have buttons, you might have cards, those type of things already. The way to do that is by clicking on this edit icon and specifying your own component library. And the format is very similar to like a gitignore file. If you have ever worked on that, you can provide a relative path to your component folder like this. You can specify multiple of them. Maybe you have something in node modules at the rate, let's say material UI, or something that you have proprietary, and star, things like that. You can save it, and then CodeParrot will start using these components to build what you want. They can be specified either through your imports. If you had, let's say, import your component name, then CodeParrot will already understand it if you're editing an already existing file. And you can also specify it over here. Use my own button component to create this. And this is part of our team plan, which is the paid plan. And it's more useful if you already have a lot of things built.